Hi.
So, welcome to the, inaugural episode of the Flis podcast.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is going to reach anybody's ears or it's more or less just a test, but we'll see how it goes. If anything interesting comes up, I can always post it later.
It's a pilot episode.
Pilot episode.
Yes.
That's right.
With a glass of wine.
Cheers.
Cheers to the pilot episode.
That's right. Doing it properly. Yeah. So, one of the things, like you asked if I had a list of questions or talking points, which I don't. But I think that's something to talk about because I have no idea what this is going to be about. Like, I came up with the idea of doing a podcast, and then we spoke about this when we were talking about doing one for the band, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For the Falling.
Yeah.
But I also wanted to do one of my own, but I have such like a vast number of interests and like hobbies and passions and stuff like that I don't really know what angle to take. So for
this
now,
is a start.
For now, it's a crapshoot. I'm just,
it's a trying
to do something, talk to different people. I know a lot of people that are into a lot of interesting things, and you're one of them. So this is a good place to start.
I'm not that interesting.
Sure you are. Don't sell yourself short like that.
All right.
So yeah, the Falling. This is our project. I'll just do
This is our thing.
This is our thing. For those who don't know, Pat started the Falling in
pre-band days would be end of 2009, I would say. I started to develop the concept of like starting a new band.
Mm-hmm.
It was designed in my head before it actually started.
Okay.
So I'd say 2009, but officially 2010 is when we kicked off as like our first show and stuff.
And was that after your band went away, or was that kind of like
it was right after One Away? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was. I was with One Away. There was a few member changes that happened, and towards the end of it, things weren't. I guess it was a lot of creative differences amongst us and member changes, and the band One Away was great for me. It was like, I would say it was my first really serious band.
Mm-hmm.
It was like my high school of bands,
Okay.
It's like we were all really close friends, and we did everything together. And at the time, I was much younger as well. I mean, when you start in your first band, so so from then on, then we had a few member changes, and that's when it all started changing for me, and it became more about business and stuff like that I wasn't really ready to face head on at the time. And I wanted to focus more on like the creative aspect and writing good songs and getting good material on there. But so then it was time for me to step away from that project and really start something new with new people. And that's it.
So that's when the Falling was born.
That's when the Falling was born. And then you came along.
Yeah, but that was like a few years into it, right? But I've been with the Falling for 5 years now, right?
Yeah.
So it's been quite a while
already.
Yeah. And I remember
time flies.
I remember getting the first message from you on Facebook.
Yes.
It was just I think you were asking if I knew any guitarists.
Yeah,
Not
I was.
necessarily.
I was. What do you say? I was subtly asking you if you knew any guitarists because I knew you were playing with Chair Warriors, and you still are.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's your thing too. So I said, hey, whatever. I started talking with Gopal.
Oh, okay.
Gopal told me about Chair Warriors. In case you want to say who Gopal is, he's the drummer of Chair Warriors. You'll probably be talking about this on another podcast. But
probably, yeah.
Amazing band, and Gopal's an amazing drummer. And
Gopal is involved in so many projects.
Yeah, he's great.
He's a monster.
I've known Gopal for so long. We played with his band when I was with One Away. We played with his band Pacer. We did a few shows together. So yeah, I don't know how Gopal reached out to me on Facebook. And then after he said, hey, check out the Chair Warriors. I saw your new project, The Falling. That's great. So I said, okay. So I started really getting into Chair Warrior stuff and listening to it all the time. And then at that point, I was looking for a guitarist, and I really like the stuff you were doing on your Chair Warriors material. So I'm like, oh, let me, DM this guy and see.
You slid into my DMs, and the rest is history.
I slid into your DM and I said, hey, do you know any guitarists? And he's like, yeah, me.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
because
yes,
I've got
that's
this
the
problem.
answer I was looking for.
I have this issue where I can't say no to anybody whenever I get invited to like do a project or something. Like the answer is always yes, even if I have no time.
The problem is, it's like approaching somebody. Excuse me, approaching somebody who's already in a band. It's like it's hard because it's like approaching a married woman, I would say. Or you're like, damn, I know this guy's in a serious band, but maybe he wants to do something else.
Maybe he wants a little side action.
Maybe he wants a little side action. Yeah, so I think it went well. Yeah, you came in, and I didn't consider it an audition. I just told the guys, Rob is coming in to play some songs with us, and they're like, "Oh, cool."
Well, I was considering it an audition, and I prepared quite a lot for it. Like I didn't want to come in and not know what I was doing.
Well, before you came in, that's it. We had my friend Jesse Zito, who was also the guitarist of One Away, and then he had to step down for personal reasons and work and whatever personal reasons. I just leave it at that. And so so after that we tried a couple of people here and there, no one worth mentioning. and then you came along. Yeah, so the rest is history, I guess.
Yeah, 5 years later.
5 years later.
Yeah. Well, we've done a lot, but one of the cool things that what drew me to The Falling was how much like professional sounding material you guys already had. So that was exciting because you had like an album's worth of great songs recorded already. So that was cool. So it was like jumping into a project that already had momentum as opposed to something that was just getting started up,
Yeah. And that's what I love to focus on even today, is like a lot of artists, a lot of bands, we get so sidetracked with the business side of stuff. And we have to. I mean, an artist is you have to be an artist. You have to face so much rejection every day. You need to know how to run a business. It's crazy. So, but before we started The Falling, that's why I said it was like conceived in my mind before. I just really want to focus on the music and have like a catalog and then start something around that. So I think that was the way to go. And even today, me, I always like to let's focus on the music first, and then the rest will fall in place.
Well, yeah, because that's like the foundation. Like all the rest of it is worth nothing if there's no good music behind it, right?
Exactly.
Like you can be a fantastic business person, but if you've got no product, then it's worthless.
You need both. I think you need both, but I think if you're going to be a band, you better be selling the best songs you can sell.
Yeah.
If I own a restaurant, I'm going to be pushing the best food I can push, and then the people will walk into the door, I guess. So it's the same like every other business.
You definitely need both, but I think, the more I think about it, probably you can get away with a bit less talent and not as great songwriting if you have more business smarts.
Yeah,
like you could. That's an advantage.
Yeah. But sometimes talent and songwriting is not really necessarily the same thing because some songs are like the worst songs you've ever heard, but they're just catchy for no reason or whatever. I mean, it's just
well,
right song at the right time.
And I always wonder about that, like the types of songs that become popular on the radio or whatever, streaming, that I personally hate. And it makes me wonder, like, why do people like this? Like, and what kind of people?
There's many of them.
Is it like a demographic in particular that they're going after? Like, what is it? I know like music is subjective and everything, but like there's usually like a logical reason, like you can understand why a person would like this. And then
I don't know if it's like, is it the masses, people that like a certain song and then it picks up momentum from there and it grows? I don't know. I can't answer. I have such a weird taste in music anyways. I'm the wrong person to ask. I mean, I listen to everything from pop, indie, rock, and I mean, I'm all over the board.
Yeah.
If you see my playlist, you'll probably know. So, but I don't know what it is. But some songs just, I think it's the right song at the right time that got pitched to the right person or label and took off from there, I guess, And
I don't know if the dog's getting picked up on the mic, but
she wants to be in the podcast.
She wants to be featured. Hi, Kira.
Hey. She's a good dog.
She's okay.
Yeah.
She's all right.
She's a good dog.
She has her good days.
So then you came in the picture. We had some fun times at the beginning and still now.
At the beginning.
No, but I mean, when we were first starting off, it was interesting to see you develop into like the band and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it was cool because playing a different style of music, learning different songs, whatever, especially songs that I didn't write, it's a challenge. And it helps you grow too.
Yeah.
Because you got to step out of your box and like really try to do something that you're not accustomed to doing, which is a good learning opportunity. So that's the way I took it.
Yeah.
And I'm still trying to do that. Like when we were for the last 2 songs we recorded with David and Antoine.
Yeah. The Lost Boys production.
That too was kind of a different process, something I wasn't used to because I hadn't really written songs in studio or like done a lot of like recording where it wasn't like pre-planned necessarily.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool too.
I think that's where what I like to do mostly about songs is not only writing them but doing a pre-production of the song before we get into the studio. Like you saw, like with the Lost Boys, with David and Antoine, we prepared the song and we kind of went over it and over and over a few times, and then we'll start tracking stuff. And then at the same time, some stuff was just spur of the moment, and you're like, oh, I'll just wing it, and we came up with some really great stuff on guitar and on vocals and stuff too. So, but I think like preparing for the studio is important.
Yeah.
The worst feeling is when you go in the studio unprepared and you're like, what am I going to do? What am I going to sing? And this is costing me so much money to be here right now. That's like my biggest fear. Like, oh no, I can't go in the studio and have no lyrics or whatever,
Yeah. Well, as much as it can be annoying to go into the studio with all this preparation and then use none of it, it's worse. The opposite is worse.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No, but it's okay. I mean, if you don't use any of it, at least you came prepared with ideas, and then you develop them from there.
Yeah, I guess it's a positive because if you didn't use it, that's because something better came along.
Yeah. Well, sometimes those ideas you prepared for is what spurs the new idea, which comes in later on in handy. Sure. So that's for sure. Yeah. So what was your experience like coming in to the Falling? Like,
it was cool. One challenge that I had for sure was just making sure that I was able to balance the Falling and Chair Warriors, my original band. But I think it did an okay job. I don't know.
You're doing a great job. You're doing a great job. Hang in there. You're doing a great job, man.
It can be a balancing act.
It is.
And then the more things that happen in your life, because when I started playing with the Falling, I wasn't married. I wasn't, I didn't have a kid, which are 2 things that happened to me since. And they just add more,
less time.
I
was thinking about that today. What do you call a person that doesn't have kids?
Oh,
like Jesus. What we call somebody that's not married or dating single?
Yeah.
What do we call somebody that's like,
I don't know,
free parent?
A normal, sane person, probably.
What do we say? I'm like,
I don't know, someone who gets sleep. That could be
a well-rested person.
Yeah, a well-rested individual.
A free, well-rested individual. Yeah. So you were a free, well-rested individual at the time.
Yeah, up until 6 months ago.
Until 6 months ago, and now you're a parent.
Now I'm a parent. Yeah, so I'm dealing with that whole set of challenges.
Yeah, it's a balancing act. It is. It really is.
Yeah.
I mean, especially if you're doing multiple projects, and a kid, it's tough. It must be hard.
Yeah. Well, this is what I tell, and like I have, I don't have many friends that have kids, but a few have, like I have one who recently found out that they're having a kid, so whatever. So like slowly.
So you're like the first of your
a little bit of like the trailblazer in terms of my group of friends.
The same for me.
But what I've been telling the few people that I've, come into these situations with is that taking care of a kid is not hard.
No.
But always having to take care of the kid is hard. You don't get a break from taking care of.
That's good. That's good.
And when you add lack of sleep into the mix, unpredictable events that happen, also having to manage the rest of your life. And if you're somebody like me with a million other things going on,
and then you're playing a gig and you're like, oh my God, I'm so tired right now. But it's okay. I mean, look, they grow up fast. Take it from me. They grow up fast.
Yeah.
And like I have 2 kids and I can't remember my what did we say it was? Free, well-rested individual days. I can't remember my pre-parent days because, I mean, it just becomes who you are when you have a kid. It becomes what you are and who you are. And you're like, okay, this is it now. This is my life now. And I have this as a living being that I need to be responsible for. And I think it brings out really good character traits in people when they become a parent. I see it all the time. I was also the first of my friends to have a kid. I was the first of my friends to do pretty much everything. My friends were losers, okay? My friends were... Oh, I'm kidding. I don't have any friends. No.
I think I know why.
Now I don't have any friends left. No. So I was the first because I don't know why. I was the first to get married, first to buy a house, first to have kids. It brings and then you see the difference about how you are.
Where's your glass?
It's here. You see the difference of how you act towards certain situations and certain things.
Yeah.
Versus how somebody who doesn't have that sense of responsibility with them, Well,
one thing that started to pop into my head for the first time is like just the realization that I should be a good example for this little person. So
you never thought about that before?
No.
Right.
So I think twice now. Whatever I say and do, it's like, well, would I want them doing that? Like, how would I want them to see me doing or saying things like this?
For sure. So, your actions too are, I mean, what you do in life, how you act, they see it and they observe it, they absorb it, they know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And I think there's a sense of urgency also once you have a kid, whether you're an artist, a businessman, like there's a sense of urgency where you're like, okay, now I can't fail. Like now I have to make this work. Like there's no way that I can't like make this happen. So, and I find that that's what I mean about a good character trait is that it really brings out sometimes the best in you that you're like, okay, I got to step it up now and let's go.
Yeah.
Let's do this. And I think it was only from when I had a kid. I started the Falling 2009. I had a kid in 2010. And that's when I started officially the Falling. And I said, okay, this has to be something serious. No more high school days. There's no more like nonsense stupidity. Like we're going to write good music and we're going to play and we're going to do our best. And that's it. It develops you.
Yeah. I think just, the realization that you have no choice but to
succeed.
To succeed.
Yeah, totally.
It lights a fire. That's really fire.
That's right.
That's really
that's true.
It's scary in a lot of ways, but I mean, it's also fantastic. Like,
absolutely,
there's no better motivator than that kind of feeling.
For sure.
I know it's the same type of thing. Like when I lost my job, for example, and then it was like, okay, so this happened to me, so now I have to deal with it, and there's no way around it. Like I can't go back in time.
Find a way
I'm gonna have to find a way, and it ended up being such a positive experience for me.
Yeah.
In so many ways that
eye-opening.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, a certain amount of pressure gets lifted off of you just from doing that daily grind, and even though you have this extra weight added where, okay, I need to figure things out now. It's kind of like a cool new challenge that you need to deliver on. And, it's a lot like,
and you have somebody relying on you.
Yeah, on top of it.
So it's like that's the fire that grows inside. You're like, yeah, I got people counting on me. I can't mess this up.
Yeah, and you said it before. The sense of urgency. It's really as terrifying as it can be. It's a good feeling.
I think it is, and I think I became a lot more creative after I had kids. Things affected me a lot more after kids, whereas before kids, I was very blah, very numb. I didn't care much about stuff like, oh, there's this going on, and I'm like, yeah, who cares? Like, you're in your own bubble, right? Whereas when you have kids, you become more aware of certain things, more aware of what's happening in society, how you want to raise your kid, and it helped me to become more creative, more aware, more eye opening,
You think that
woke, like
woke?
this. Yeah, but it's true. It really it changes you. It really changes you.
You ever find that like if you're having a rough time, you can just like turn to your family and then just like, okay, forget all of this crap that I'm dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
I have my family now, and that's like your therapy. Kind of like you
Totally.
just go back to them.
100%.
Yeah.
That's like your home base.
Yeah.
That's like, yeah, no matter what else happened, my family's there for me, and they're healthy and they're happy. And when I get home, I'm gonna tell them that I lost money at the casino, and they're gonna understand.
But if you did,
I lost my job. No, I'm just kidding.
they'd forgive you.
They would, yeah, maybe. My kids wouldn't understand. What do you mean?
The wife.
But no, it's home base. It's home base for sure, and that's what I mean. It's that it changes you. It becomes your home base. It changes you as an artist. It changes you like certain things that I would never have thought of. I can't really think of an example. Maybe later I will. But certain stuff, the way you raise your kids, the world that we're living in today, we go into these deep conversations of what the world is like and how people are growing up to be.
Yeah, pretty fucked
it's all
up,
stuff. Yeah,
to be honest.
It's all stuff we didn't think about before kids and stuff like that. So I think it brings out the good side of you as an artist, as a musician, to express these ideas.
Yeah. And also, I mean, I don't know how you feel because your kids are getting a little older, about like, shielding them from some of the darker, things that happen out there in the world versus exposing them because they're going to have to get there eventually.
I think there's time for everything. There's a time for everything. So like bits and pieces of stuff get exposed to them when it's time, or when you feel as a parent they're ready. I don't know. It's tough.
I guess you're not there yet because they're not like,
if you really want to get in depth, we can talk about something that I know you're going to go on and talking about for hours.
What is it? Some conspiracy thing?
No, not conspiracy, but like my kid now, I'm of like, I don't know, you are too, right? We never even talk about, we see each other every week. We don't even talk about what's your religion?
I was born and raised
we don't even
Catholic.
talk about
I got baptized, had my first communion.
That's what I figured, right?
Didn't get married in a church though. I didn't have a Catholic wedding.
Not many people get married in the church today. But
a lot of people I know got married in church because they wanted the photos, and that's pretty much the only reason.
I did, but so just stuff that we talk about and I talk about with people a lot is about religion. And so my son, the question, my kids got baptized. My oldest son, Adam, is ready to do his first communion, and he's doing his catechism courses. Did you ever do that?
Yeah.
So the catechism course has begun, and so now he's coming home and he's asking all these questions, and I don't know what to answer.
Like about Jesus and stuff, or
because none of it makes sense. None of it, like I'm truly religious, but in my very own distinguished way. Like I'm religious. I believe there's something higher, greater than us. There's a God. I'll go as far as saying that, yeah, I do believe in Jesus. But there's certain things that maybe are not true or that maybe we didn't get the story straight.
Yeah.
I write a lot about this stuff in my music and lyrics sometimes.
The interpretation of the Bible is so weird and complicated because it was translated so many times.
It's crazy.
Like you're not sure what's supposed to be metaphorical and what's supposed to be literal.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of theories on like what everything means. It's not like there's no clear definitions of stuff, and like it clearly states that some things are good and some things are bad. Like
it's just because like my kid's like me. He's very like analytical about stuff like timelines. Like I need to know, when did this happen? Okay, this happened in high school. I was in high school, and then this happened in college, and then I moved on, and then I got married. Like I have a timeline of my life,
right,
and of the world. Whereas my kid's asking on this timeline, where does this fit? Because he was exposed to like science and dinosaurs from like 2 years old.
Oh, and they're saying that the earth was created,
So, and it's like God rested on the 6th day or whatever.
Yeah.
I have to brush up on my Bible stories. And on the 7th day. So he's asking questions now. And I'm like, I don't know what to answer. Like, how did Adam and Eve live through the dinosaur era? Like, what's going on? So what are you going to tell him? Sorry, son, it's all bullshit. You just go there, get a little white plastic thing, put in your mouth, and then, like a wafer candy, and then you'll pass your first communion. I don't know. I didn't even know we were going to talk about this, but it just came out. So,
yeah, that's a hard one.
I don't know how we got to this topic, but yeah. You were asking how the kids are exposed to certain things. Well,
yeah.
So now he's at that phase, and eventually he's gonna have to just learn to, just not have a timeline like I did, and just say like, oh, I don't know, we don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess my solution would be something like, it's really tough because at 7, I can understand how he would need to have like an answer,
of course,
to every question.
They need an answer for everything, and today's generation is everything now.
Yeah.
It's the everything now generation. It's like I Google this and it's not giving me the answer. It's what's going on.
Because and this won't be valuable to a 7-year-old, but my own personal interpretation is that as you get older, you get better at identifying the useful things in stuff like religion and being able to extract those useful things, because there are some
absolutely
things of value in there that you can use.
Yes.
But there's also a lot of garbage.
Yes.
So you have to be able to tell the difference, and that's I think what growing up is about.
And that's what maturing is about.
Yeah,
exactly.
But
that's really
try
well
explaining
said.
that to a 7-year-old.
You can't. You can't just say like, oh, one day you'll understand the value of it. I mean, I understand it. You understand it. We all do at a certain point. Some of us, anyways. But no, that's it. So now he's doing that, and we're like, okay, maybe we shouldn't have told him about the dinosaurs when he was 2.
But dinosaurs are so cool.
Exactly. I don't know. So there's a lot to explain, and I don't know. I don't know how to even come about explaining that to him. But I think I believe in religion. I believe in God. I believe that there was Jesus. Mm-hmm. There was a Jesus. I mean, my only line of defense is people say, "Oh, how can you say Jesus was alive?" Well, look, how many Jesuses do you know that were famous? So, and how many years has everybody known his name? And so the story just kept going for centuries and centuries and centuries on. If it's gone this far, it means, look, there's got to be something. There was a guy named Jesus that existed, and he did something really freaking amazing, because we're still talking about this guy. I mean, I don't think if we put a timeline to it, it would have been, what, 2,000 years ago, according to the Bible?
Yeah, because that was
0.
Yeah, we're
so do you think in 2,000 years they're going to be talking about Elvis Presley? Probably not. Or I don't know, name somebody like.
Don't underestimate the king. Okay.
Maybe but I mean, is he going to be worldwide renowned? I don't know. With millions of followers in 2000,
I don't know,
4020. Is he going to have 20, whatever, half the world's population following it?
Who knows what the world is going to look like in the year 4000?
And there have been prophets that came after Jesus, and they're not as famous as he was.
So this is another interesting thing, and we're running out of time because we can only record 30 minutes per session. So
okay.
Let's take a break now, and we'll come back, and we'll pick up on this conversation.
Okay, cool.
All right. And we're back.
We
just took a short popcorn break.
Mm-hmm. You took a popcorn break. Amanda. I just had a wine break.
Yeah, because you've got your Invisalign on or whatever it is you're wearing.
I took them off now. I think I was slurring on the first half because I realized I forgot to take off my braces, but now I'm good. I still sound bad.
That's fine.
All right.
We were talking about religion, and before the break, you were talking about other prophets No, so you were talking about you were talking about other prophets.
I'm confused because we were talking about Jesus and religion, and then we took a break, and then during the break we had a 30-minute conversation about society,
which we probably should have recorded because it was good.
It was a good Well, I don't know. We said some things that maybe shouldn't be public, but whatever.
Moving on. So
moving on.
What I found interesting, because you were talking about other prophets, and
yeah,
this in my mind related back to something that a kid would ask is like, okay, so if I'm Catholic and I'm studying the Bible and everything,
yeah,
and it says that if I practice, my religion, I'll go to heaven when I die. Well, there's also Hindus, Buddhists, Muslims, and a bunch of other religions in the world, and what happens to them when they die?
Yeah,
in a kid's mind, it's like, well, how can everybody be right?
That's what I'm saying. It's like all these religions, they're all based on stories. So these stories all have common themes, common things that happened. And I think that all these stories could have been very true. They all had their prophets or their saviors, whatever it is. They're all very true.
Is Elon Musk our prophet in the modern day?
It's Jeff Bezos.
Have you seen the Cybertruck?
Yeah, and the windows broke.
That is true.
Amazon. Jeff Bezos, right? That's his name? Jeff?
Yeah.
Do you realize that he's revolutionizing? I was having this conversation with my family yesterday. He's revolutionizing everything right now, and nobody's paying him any attention. Like, everybody's talking about Elon Musk.
People are paying attention to him.
Yeah.
I mean,
not for the right reasons.
But did you know that when he got divorced, his wife from the divorce settlement became like one of the richest women in the world just from getting half of his shit?
Of course. That's crazy. I heard about that. But not only about money, he's a billionaire, multi-billionaire, whatever he is. I mean, just think, you order something today and you'll get it at your doorstep within a few hours.
Yeah.
And he's also in the business of making rockets, I think now. He's getting like what Elon Musk wants to do. The stuff he's doing, he's into cable TV now. He's selling Amazon Prime, Stack TV. He's everywhere. He started off selling books.
And I was skeptical at first, but then I got Amazon Prime, and I think you were one of the people who encouraged me. And
yes,
it's freaking awesome.
It's awesome. There's some really good shows on there, exclusive shows.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, he made everybody's life so much easier. Alexa is amazing. I use it at home all the time.
Yeah.
He made everyone's life so much easier. And I don't know. I feel like he doesn't get the credit that he deserves. And Elon Musk is amazing. He gets a lot of credit. And, maybe he is great. But for me, I think, Amazon is the way to go. But, it's hard because it did ruin a lot of industry. Industries were ruined. But I mean, you gotta get with the times. That's just how it is.
That's very true. And it is pretty incredible the amount of technology that we can have in our homes now. Yeah. Like I got a Fire Stick too, and just like,
you got it? You like it?
Yeah, it's great.
Yes, you plug it in and it works. That's it.
Yeah, it makes everything easier.
Everything is there.
I got everything connected to the TV now, and if I feel like listening to Smashing Pumpkins, I say, Alexa, play Smashing Pumpkins.
There you go.
I hear it right away.
Yeah, there you go. So I don't know, how so you're saying, how does Elon Musk compare to Jesus? Is that what you're saying?
What I'm saying,
or like, will he be as remembered?
Like, if you believe that Jesus was a real person, and that Muhammad and like the other prophets were real people, and that over time their story was kind of like shifted in certain ways to where it became a little bit maybe more I don't know, exaggerated or blown out of proportion just with the time.
Yeah.
Then maybe it would be comparable to somebody like Musk or Jeff Bezos, who was really revolutionary for their time. And it wouldn't happen the same way because we're in the information age now. Like, all these things are recorded.
I understand
so like
what you mean.
It wouldn't really be the same, but you know what I'm talking about? Like a super influential person.
Yeah.
But from 2,000 years ago.
Well, it depends, because like Jesus had a good message from what the story says. I mean, his sole message was love, peace, and just everybody love each other. So I don't know if there's anybody giving that message today that's going to be worth remembering in 2,000 years, to be honest. I mean, even the people who are talking about love and peace are probably have a separate agenda or whatever, I mean, there still are good people out there. I believe in that. But I mean, yeah, like you said, Jesus was revolutionary, and what defined him, what made him stick out so much was the fact that everybody said he made these miracles. And I think that's why it has to be true, because why would people still be talking about this stuff so many years later? I mean, I don't.
That's something.
If you think about how many people lived on this earth and died, like if I think about shit like this, and it's scary, but how many people lived on this rock and died, and only so many were remembered from 2,000 years ago. So there's got to be something there.
For sure. And,
he did something. He did something. For sure he did something. For sure he healed someone, or something happened. He did something.
I think it's possible. I listened to, do you know Jordan Peterson?
No.
He's a professor, university professor. He talks about philosophy a lot, and like he speaks a lot about the Bible and stuff like this.
Okay.
And
oh man,
he's got a lot of, but he's very like pro.
He's pro-religion
type, in a sense, and he takes a lot of. He really studies it, and he draws a lot of messages from the stories and everything. And there's a lot of other like big thinkers that are very, not anti-religion, but like what's the word I'm looking
atheist?
for? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But he doesn't take that stance. Like he takes a lot of meaning from the stories and everything. So like I think partially because of him, like I do attribute meaning to a lot of those stories, because at the end of the day, whether they're true or not, a lot of them are stories about people and being a person and being human, and like how to live well, and properly, and like in a community with others, and
exactly, it's a message of love.
Yeah, being good, just being a good person.
If you can take out of religion one thing, and that's being a good person, that's all it's for.
Yeah,
that's what it's worth.
I don't know why people overcomplicate it so much.
Why do we overthink it? But like we were saying before, as a kid, you could understand why they have so many questions, right? But as an adult, that's why we distinguish from kids. We're mature. We're able to say, like, look, man, the story might not all be true, but whatever is true gives hope in me, and it's a good way of living.
Mm-hmm.
So if something gives you hope and makes your life better and makes you a better person, well, then great, good on you, man.
What I don't appreciate so much is the kind of old school mentality of you must go to church every Sunday or else you will go to hell.
Yeah,
that's kind of like, okay, you've lost
that's
me.
Fear mongering, and I think that's what religion uses to hold people in. I mean, I don't know, man. It's really complicated. Like every time I get into conversations with people about religion, I love talking about it, but it's so complicated that there's not one answer, obviously. But I find, like, who are you to say that if I don't do something, I'm gonna go to hell? Like, who gave you that card? Who gave you the hall pass to say, or who gave you like the privilege of deciding that I'm gonna go to hell because I don't do this?
Yeah, well, they always go back to whatever it says in the Bible.
But you can't really prove a negative. So shouldn't it be the opposite? Like, if you don't do this, you're gonna go to hell. But if I kill someone, I'll go to hell. That's what you're gonna tell me. Then I'll believe you. Okay.
So you're as bad as a murderer if you don't go to church every Sunday.
Well, that's what they're saying. That's what they're saying, right? So if you say, look, if you do something, you're going to go to hell. If you do not do something, you're still going to go to hell. So it's like, it makes no sense. You can't fear people into going somewhere and believing. It just doesn't work.
So one of
the information age has changed all that. Like you said, we're in the information age.
Yeah.
Look, I believe in God. I believe in Jesus. Again, I'll say it. I don't know where you stand right now on this. We never really talk about stuff. We talk about religion, but we never really say, but I'll put it out there. I believe in God. Mm-hmm. I believe in religion. I believe in a lot of stuff, but the church, as much as I loved it, and I really enjoyed being doing my communion and doing all the catechism and all that stuff as a kid. It felt like a sense of community and stuff. I find like now it's changed, and I just can't get into it right now because like my mind is too like all over the place.
Yeah.
You know, and I find that writing songs about stuff like this really helps me to get stuff out and into the world and be like, there's something there, you know?
I think there's definitely something. And for me personally, I've gone through a bunch of different phases where, yeah, as a kid, you know, growing up, even early teenage years, yeah, religion was a thing in my life. And I guess I could say that I believed in God. You know, I went to church and stuff like
Everybody
that.
was scared. We were all feared. If you went to church, we were all feared into thinking like, don't do this. God's watching over you.
Sure.
And Santa is watching over you. Don't be bad, kids. Santa won't be. It's always an incentive to be good. So what I took out of religion is be good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's it.
But as I continued to grow up, I think I became a little bit bitter towards that. Like you said, it's like fear. It's like, you know, well, well, if you don't do this, then, you know, something bad's going to happen to you. So, and I saw a lot of hypocrisy like that exists. And, you know, like all the scandals with the priest and the Vatican.
Yeah. Well, like that. The scandals, that's in everything. Okay. Yeah. So put like the scandals, that's huge and it's bad. Mm-hmm. It is bad. That's like a whole other topic of conversation, why this is happening. The problem is people are talking about the scandals, but they're not talking about why it's happening. And I've talked about this probably once in my life. I think it was with my brother, and he said, it's not natural for somebody to be in a priest situation.
Yeah.
Right? You get what I'm saying? I don't know how far I can go.
The vow of celibacy.
Exactly. It's not natural for a human being to take that vow.
Yeah.
And so that... And the fact that a lot of priests were scared into going into priesthood because they were gay. They were feared into going to priesthood because they were told that if you're gay, you're going to hell. So their only way to redemption was to become a priest, which led to problems 30 years down the line.
That makes a lot of sense.
Right? But it's scary to talk about this stuff because it's so taboo right now. And nobody's really saying it.
Yeah.
For a priest to do that to a boy, one, you're gay. Mm-hmm. 2, you're a pedophile.
Yeah.
Right? That's some scary ass shit.
It's very terrifying. I agree that it's not a complete representation of the whole.
Absolutely.
The whole
there's always a rotten apple.
You know,
it's just, it happens so often because the church used fear mongering to get, you're gay, you got to get to church immediately and take your vow of celibacy. And, you know, and
obviously it didn't work.
Wrong way. No.
I mean,
it's not natural for somebody to have a vow of celibacy.
Yeah,
it's not natural. We're humans, but at the same time, we have like an animalistic sense. We need to procreate. We need to, you know, get our mojo on.
Yeah, well,
just naturally, that's how we are.
There's not as much that separates us from animals as we like to think sometimes, right? The thumbs. Yeah, exactly. Thumbs and
that's about it.
Language,
communication.
And Instagram.
They
don't have Instagram.
Yeah, exactly.
But so that's one thing that turned me off when I was, you know, in my later teens, early 20s, and I became very almost like anti-religion. Like
I went through that phase.
Nowadays, I'm starting to, like I said before, extract value where I see value from the messages, understanding that it's not a perfect package. You know, it's not going to answer all of my questions, but there are some things that I can take away from it. And another thing, and I could talk about this for hours, but it's a super deep and complicated thing, is that I think really that what we're seeing science try to explain today and what religion was trying to explain in the past is really kind of all the same thing. Like it's talking about creation, where we all came from, what's happening, what happens after we die. I think science still has no fucking clue about, they don't even understand how the human brain works.
Yeah.
Okay. And they don't know what consciousness is.
Yeah.
But if you listen to a lot of spiritual people, like there's a whole community that's very, very interested in this type of thing. And I'm getting increasingly interested in
so I'm going to get my brother-in-law to come and talk here on your podcast. His name is David Lacopo. He does all this stuff, and he's going to come here and we're going to talk about this entire topic because it's true. Science talks a lot about energy,
Yes.
how the world, everything. And when you talk about spirituality, it's all about your aura and energy.
There's a lot of parallels.
We're basically trying to explain the same exact thing, but we're taking we're taking opposite angles from it.
Yeah.
You know, one being spiritual, one being scientific, but they're still trying to figure out what is this energy that binds us? What happens after we die? We become a light, a star. Science says what? They don't know. Nobody knows. They say lights out, it's over.
Religion talks about God, you know, the spiritual, like, you know, I guess more people who are very into meditation and, you know, mindfulness and stuff.
That's what I would say.
Talk about the one consciousness that permeates all things.
Oh yeah, David, you're coming on this show and you're gonna love it.
I would
talk about this.
I would love to have more conversations about this stuff.
He knows a lot about this stuff, so you can have fun.
Now I think that science is kind of trying to catch up with that, because, you know, they have not been able to explain a lot of the I don't know, a lot of the big questions that have been brought up.
Yeah.
Regarding, like,
but you see, I find like science is like very specific, whereas the problem with religion is that religion just made up like this nice little comfy story, and there's a lot of holes in the story, but they're like, we're not allowed to know.
Yeah.
It's not up to us to know why God exists. Ask a priest, why does God exist? Who's God? You're not supposed to know that. So, you know, it's a cop-out. Whereas science says, no, we're going to figure this out. There's atoms, there's molecules, there's particles, there's, you know, but also more specific.
We must admit, though, that as much as it's a cop-out when a priest says that, there's no reason that we should be able to understand everything about the universe with our...
I don't think we're capable.
I don't think we're capable either. I think there's limitations with the number of things that we can understand about the universe, and that probably will reach a ceiling where, you know, there are things that like they talk about other dimensions, up to 11 dimensions existing and things like this.
Our brains, we're not capable of understanding these dimensions.
But then it brings us to another thing, is that if we integrate more with AI, will we become more capable? And that's a whole other can of worms that we can get into. Like, where is humanity going with the rise of AI? And, you know,
I think it's more, the rise of AI, but I think it's going to go more about the way of spirituality. The more spiritual we become, the more you're capable of understanding.
Like, it'll come full circle, right?
Yes.
Like the machine technology and the spirituality will merge.
Yes, because the machine is going to have to start learning spirituality eventually, and we're going to have to figure that out.
Did you read that book, The Age of Spiritual Machines, by Ray Kurzweil?
That's from
That's what Our Lady Peace based their the album Spiritual Machines off of.
That's a great album.
Yeah, fantastic.
Our Lady Peace, great band.
Shout out.
We love them.
Rain, love you.
we love you, Rain. Yeah, I know that album freaked me out, actually, and I never got around to watching to reading the book, but
it's a cool book. It's all about predictions of what would happen by the year 2000.
Okay.
A lot of it's wrong, but it's still cool.
So far, you think it's wrong.
Well, I honestly, what do I know? Talk out of my ass all the time. I don't know anything. The thing that I learned the most as I get older is that I know nothing.
Okay, but anything. Since you had a kid, bringing it all the way back to the first 3 minutes of our podcast, since you had a kid, isn't it easier? I mean, you had nothing.
Yeah. And
now you created something. Don't you feel a bit more spiritual? Then it help you believe, like, there's got to be something. Because that's what happened to me. That was my aha moment. Because same like you, when I was in high school, I didn't care about religion. I only cared about it because my mom, I love you, Mom. She really like instilled religion in me. My mom and my dad were like, we got to go to church. So I went through the motions. But after high school, I was very, like you said, very like against it. And this is dumb. This is stupid, whatever. So I didn't think about religion much. But after you have a kid, man, everything changes. You're like, wait a minute. There was nothing. And now there's something.
Yeah.
How the fuck does that happen?
And
how does that happen?
So many thoughts going on in my head right now. the circumstances that led up to like whatever anybody's kid, like whatever your kids were Alice. I'll use
conception,
whatever my daughter as an example. Like all the chain reaction of events that led to her being born is so specific.
Yeah.
Okay, going back generation after generation after generation, everybody, like we all people started from one single-celled organism.
That's it. That's what I'm saying. How does this work?
That split and then divided and then just bred everybody, the 7 billion people that we have on the planet today. And in order for my daughter to be born and to be the person that she is, everybody that came before her had to not die. They had to find that specific partner and procreate with them and have, raise their kids. It was like, and that's why it's the biggest cliche ever that, when a baby's born, it's a miracle. It is a fucking miracle. It's the biggest miracle ever. And you don't really realize it until you actually think about it.
100%. And just to think of how much everything had to go perfectly right from the moment of like conception to the day that she was born.
Yeah.
Because one slight thing goes wrong and it's done. Everything has to go right for just to get pregnant. Everything, some guys are going to say, fuck, everything went wrong. She got pregnant. But I'm saying if you're trying to have a baby, everything needs to be like, we're talking temperature, your mood, your physical being. The woman has to be ovulating at the same time. And everything's got to be what you eat. It all matters. It all matters whether you're getting pregnant or not.
And then if you take it a step further than that, really, you start to realize like, everything is a fucking miracle. The fact that we even exist is a miracle.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
okay, I stay up at night, stare at the ceiling, and I scare the shit out of myself. So I don't know if you have this feeling. Maybe it's the artistic side of me, but I'm telling you, Rob, I stay up at night sometimes and I don't even sleep because I'm like, what the heck is this?
Yeah.
Like, what is
How
this?
does anything exist?
Exactly.
This is the types of things that I wonder.
Yeah, it's a scary feeling. It is. That's I don't know.
So there's that. And then there's also, I don't know if you get
everything exists.
These demented thoughts that start to creep into your head. Like,
depends what you mean by demented. What do you mean?
Like dark stuff. Like you have like your baby is born and like you get this thought like, fuck, she's going to die one day.
Yeah. That's the fear, man.
Yeah.
That's fear of parenting.
And you know that.
That's what I'm saying.
But it's also a fact. Right.
Yeah.
And that's what's
you,
really,
you start to think about your own mortality.
But right? I care more about hers than I do about my own, like,
of course I care about their mortality.
And then I'm driving on the highway home and thinking, fuck man, if I get into a car accident.
Yeah. But don't think like that. That's so bad.
I know, but they creep in.
Of course. That's fear because you're a parent now. I went through that. The beginning stages of parenting. It's fear. Those are your fears, and it gets better. But you know how I always tell everybody, once you become a parent, you're never going to sleep the same again. And it's not, everybody's like, yeah, I know, the baby cries. No, it's not because the baby cries or because you have to take a diaper or you have to change a diaper. You're not going to sleep again because you have that fear. I wake up at night and I go check if my kids are still breathing. And if they're okay, I'll do that maybe 5 times in the night. It's just that fear. It's constantly there. It's not a bad fear. It's just responsibility. It's like, I'm responsible for this being now, and I have to, take care of it until they're 18. And even after that, I remember coming home 3-4 in the morning, and my mom would wait up, and I'd be like, oh, Mom, why are you waiting up? Go to bed. You're so dumb. Don't wait up for me. Now I know why she waited up.
Yeah.
She didn't sleep until we got home because she's probably thinking, where's my son? What is he doing? Is he alive? Is he dead? Back then, no cell phones. I mean, we had cell phones, but they weren't like today texting.
Yeah.
So, it's just fear. But what I'm saying is that a lot of times I won't sleep at night because I'm thinking, what if some people are right? What if there's just nothing? There's just nothingness. Like the lights go out, it's over. That's the freaking scariest moment. But
isn't that okay with you though? Life. Because
you know, like when you go to sleep.
Yeah.
Do you know you went to sleep?
No, but everybody loves going to sleep.
Why?
I don't know, but I think death is probably the same thing. It's like, why worry about it?
It's scary because I don't want to go to sleep. That's why I
You know
have
what? It's
insomnia.
FOMO. It's fear of missing out.
Yeah. No, but I feel like that's why I suffer a lot from insomnia. You know me. I don't sleep. I don't sleep at night. I'll sleep weird hours, like 4 hours here, 3 hours there. I think that's part of it. It's fear. It's mixed with too much thinking, overthinking stuff. And I don't know. It's some scary stuff, man. It's some scary stuff. That's what I was saying before. When you have kids, it's an eye opener.
Yeah, it draws a lot of weird things out of you that you didn't have before.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I can't deal with like TV shows or movies where babies or children are in danger anymore. Like, it bothers me a lot to watch them. Why that? Like, I've been I got Disney Plus, and I've been watching the Star Wars show, The Mandalorian.
Okay.
Did you hear about Baby Yoda? He's like all over the internet right now. Like, everybody's talking about Baby Yoda. He's
I'll pretend like I did. Yeah, cute. I heard about him.
So, anyways, there's like,
I don't have Disney Plus yet.
Well, I recommend it. It's pretty good.
Okay.
If you like Disney movies, like, they have the whole catalog of Disney stuff, and they have even some like weird movies you wouldn't expect.
Cool.
They have all the
have to get
the old animated Spider-Man and X-Men cartoons because they own all the Marvel stuff now.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
that's
good.
Crazy.
But anyways, so Baby Yoda, okay, gets put in a dangerous situation, and I am like,
you're crying.
I can't even watch because I'm imagining it's a baby that's in trouble, and I can't deal with it right now.
Yoda, he's gonna die. No, but that's just parenting. Those are your fears. You'll learn to deal with them. I think that's why also we didn't talk about it, but like with the falling, that's why when I had a kid, I started getting involved more with foundations and charities and stuff like that. And that's why I got involved with the Tyler Robinson Foundation, TRF. In case anybody wants to know, we're ambassadors for TRF with the falling. And we try to help out in any way we can. And basically they try to donate. They do a really good job at donating and helping families that are suffering with kids that have pediatric cancer. So just imagine, like, my kid has a cold and I'm freaking out. So I could just imagine what those parents are going through. Yeah. And like you were talking about the fear, that's what drove me to getting involved with these things, because like I said earlier, when you have a kid, you change. Your priorities change, your mindset changes, and you're like, I'm not going to just go on my entire life living in a bubble and thinking that everybody is cool and everything is good, because it's not. There's people out there that need help, and we should be pitching in. Those who don't need help should be pitching in to help any way they can.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, I don't know. I just thought that was a good
No, it was a good segue into the TRF promo. Yeah, but no, so. It's a very noble thing, and it's a great cause, and it's something that, you know, I know that you take great pride in doing.
Yeah.
And you've been super involved in it, which is very commendable.
Yeah. Well, like when my kid was born, he was born premature. My first son, Adam, was born premature. Jonah was born okay on time, but Adam was born premature at St. Justin's Hospital. And just being underweight and being so fragile, already I saw the care that he needed. The nurses, he was in an incubator for like 4 days. It killed me. It killed me to see that, like, what kind of horrible card is a kid dealt when you're coming into this world and you're already messed up. Like, that's a horrible card you're dealt. So, and what I'm talking about is minimal compared to what other people are going through and other kids are going through. So my kid, it was okay and everything was fine, but I saw all the other kids that were not as good, were not as fine, in the same place where they kept my son in the incubator. And I saw those kids and I'm like, wow, that was like the eye opener for me. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to have to do something one day and help one day, or do anything to help kids or whatever. You know, I love kids. So yeah, so that's it. That's how I got involved with them. And whatever, like you said, we're proud of it. If you guys want to, if anybody wants to check it out, just go to trf.org. That's it. And if you feel like you want to help out in any way, well, go ahead.
So maybe you can say a little bit more about exactly what it is, because if people don't know what, who Tyler Robinson is and what it's all about.
Okay, so Tyler Robinson was a big fan of the band Imagine Dragons, one of my favorite bands. And he was a cancer patient. Um, so his brother, Jesse, which I spoke into and met, and he's a great guy, reached out to Imagine Dragons just as they were about to, just as they were about to get signed and take off. They were playing small clubs. So Jesse reached out to Dan, the singer, and said that he wanted. He didn't really ask for anything, from what I understood from the story. He just said, "We'll be at the concert, and Tyler really likes you." So he went to the concert, and they became friends. And then sometime after that, Tyler passed away from his illness, and so the band started this foundation where they would help families with kids suffering from pediatric cancer. So what the foundation does is they raise money throughout the year, and they give allowances. They allocate money to the family to deal with everyday costs associated with getting help for the kid, because when a child is sick, a parent might have to leave work, and it's kind of hard to pay for bills, medical bills, and everyday living expenses when you don't have the same income coming in with the family. And so that's what the foundation is revolved around. So just being a fan of the band and following them, and like I was saying before, after having kids, I became more aware of everything in the world, and I wanted to help out. So I started what was called the Music for Life Foundation. And basically, what I was doing is writing songs and selling them and raising money. And I was donating the funds to the St. Justin's Hospital and the Montreal Children's. I think we raised about $1,000 or $2,000, whatever. It's a drop in the water, but still, it was our contribution, my contribution, and everybody who supported me to do so. It's something. Every penny counts. So from then, I realized it was so hard to really get a foundation started and to continue managing it day to day. So when I heard of the Tyler Robinson Foundation, I started reaching out to people, and a few friends pointed me in the right direction. And that's it. And then I became an ambassador, and that's why now we're selling T-shirts for the foundation at our shows. We had the TRF fundraiser here in Montreal, which we did really well. We got some really good sponsors. We raised another $2,000 with that. That went well. And now I'm on the ambassador committee, which my job is basically to support and help other ambassadors, so in any way possible. So if there's somebody's interested in becoming an ambassador, well, I can tell them how to go about it, and give them any resources and help that they need. And because at first, when we first got into it and I started reaching out with TRF, the ambassador program was just starting off. So now it's like all over the world. So it's great. So I have people reaching out to me from all around the world that they're becoming ambassadors. And in the end, it's all for a great cause to help kids suffering from pediatric cancer. It's really sad. I went to the gala. It's really eye opening. Again, I'll say it again. It's like, that's why I go to bed every night, count my blessings, and that's all we can do, really.
I think it's.
I know this is deep. This is deep, but it's a fact of reality. It's a reality of life right now.
Everybody should have gratitude,
Yeah.
for the things that they have, whether it be, their family, health, whatever, because, there's always somebody who's got a different situation that's suffering in a way that you're not. And, we should
for sure
totally count our blessings.
Yeah, for sure. But for me, it was just a way to give back. And also I find like like for me, giving back to the community is just a way of, like, again, going back to the religious talk. I find that people that have talents, are gifted, as they say.
Mhm.
So if you're gifted in art or music, painting, it's a gift that not everybody has, not everybody's capable of doing. And I find it so important for these people, for artists, to use their gifts for good. You know, we were just talking about Marvel before we started recording again. And I'm a superhero fan, so are you. So, I mean, if you were given a super ability, would you use it for good or would you use it for bad? So, that's the way I see like an
You're
art.
asking me that question.
I'm asking you. Obviously, you'd use it for good. You're a good person.
I like to think of myself as
It's a
a good
rhetorical
person.
question, but you know what I mean. Like when you're given the gift of something, you should use it for good, and I think that that's the way to do it. That's just my philosophy on life.
Totally. I completely agree.
Yeah.
So let's use this. Let's finish up here by talking a bit about the falling things that we have coming up. And
Hmm.
you said,
Yeah. Good idea.
want to plug some things. The social
Plug.
medias.
What do you want to plug? First of all, we should just tell them what we've been up to for the last year because we've been quiet.
This is true. The band has
Not quiet, but we've been, you know.
for anybody who has followed us and is aware of what we do. Yeah, we. It's not that we took a break. It's just that we, we hit a few obstacles and had to, readjust our trajectory a little bit. A couple band members left, so we were just spending some time adjusting. But we
Some band members had kids.
yeah that
One in particular.
that put things on hold too for a little
Of
while.
course.
But yeah, I mean, we it's not like we've stopped, completely. We've been working on stuff. We released a single last. When
It's gonna be a year
It's gonna
now.
be a year.
We did "Never Gonna Let You Down,"
Right.
which did pretty well on Spotify. I think every band needs sometimes to revamp themselves.
Yeah.
And when we did "Never Gonna Let You Down," it was our time of like let's just do something different. Let's just mix it up. Let's try something different. I remember we talked about it at the time and we're like, yeah, whatever. Let's just go with. We started working with our producers. It felt different. It felt fun. It was just fun again for the first time in a long time. Whereas when you're out playing shows and you have an album and you're playing those same songs all the time over and over, it gets redundant. It gets boring. So when we just put everything on hold and said, let's go back in the studio and do something different, I think it was good. It was good. And now again, we're in the studio and we finished our next single, which should be out January, maybe February. We're still planning on that. But again, it's gonna be different. It's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be different from the last one. It's gonna be different from anything else we've done too.
It's exciting, but scary as hell to revamp yourself. But I find it's very necessary as an artist to just try different things, put it out there and see what happens. So the next single is going to be called Anxiety, which is should be launched in January or February. We have yet to finalize on the plans, but definitely early in 2020. And it's a kick-ass song.
I like it.
Oh, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. I think people are gonna like it, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, so that'll kick off the new year for us.
Yes.
And, hopefully, we'll be able to ride some momentum for the rest of the year.
Yeah, and then we gotta continue writing. We're gonna continue writing and continue working on our sound, on our craft, and do the best we can.
Yep, maybe get a few more gigs next year.
Yeah.
We didn't play much into 2019.
No, but that's okay. That's what the creative process was about.
Yeah.
Writing and going in the studio was fun. But 2020 is I think it's gonna be a busy year for us. We'll see.
Yeah, I think so too.
We will see what happens. What do you feel about the creative process?
Oh, you know me. I'm down for anything. I really don't place any limitations on stuff. I'm willing to try new things all the time. I just try to keep an open mind all the time, and I think that open-mindedness is healthy for bands. You don't want to paint yourself into a corner and do the same thing all the time.
Yeah.
You want to be able to find new territory, explore a little bit, and just develop and grow. I think that's how people get better too, is by trying new things.
Yeah.
So I really like the new stuff that we've done. I'm excited for people to hear the new song. The last one was also different from what we did before, and that was very well received. I mean, like, it got over 100,000 streams on Spotify, which was great, and seemed to be well liked. So I hope the same goes for this one.
Yeah.
And I have a good feeling about it.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's gonna do well, and I mean, we're just. I think we're at the point now where we're just gonna release quality over quantity. We really want to release the best material we can, the best material that we could write, and I find that that's so important because there's so much garbage out there in music right now, and even like the music scene is not the same as it used to be, in a sense where everything is so fast paced today, and you need to capture somebody's attention within the first 5 seconds, or it's gone. With the streaming lifestyle that we live today, it's a streaming world now. It's nobody's downloading music anymore. So,
yeah, very true. But I think something that works in our favor is that as we've like I mentioned, we lost band members, and that was a little discouraging at the beginning. But in the end, it's streamlined things for us where we have less decision makers.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about this?
I mean, I don't mind.
Are you wrapping it up, or do you want to get in depth with this?
Man. Well, I don't mind getting into it. Like, okay, clearly you have a lot to say, but
no, I'm good.
I wasn't intending to get into a deep conversation about it. I just wanted to say that, like,
I think we should. I think if you're gonna do a podcast, people want to know the dirt.
Fine, but we totally can. But the point I wanted to make was that sometimes less cooks in the kitchen makes things go a lot faster.
Absolutely. That's true.
And I think that's where we're at now. So we're in a good position where we can advance at the pace that's comfortable for us without any not that we were being held back before, but like.
No, I don't think we're being held back. I get what you're saying, and it's very true. We agree on that. We talk about that all the time. Less cooks in the kitchen. But I think it's not really a question of decision making, but more how dedicated you are to your craft and to music. And I find like right now we're on the same page. We're dedicated to the Falling, and even though we do side projects, I have my own stuff, you got your thing, but when we come together, we know we're pursuing a path. And like we said earlier, it's like no matter what we do, we can't fail. Like, we got to make something happen now. We're both on the same level playing field. Whereas, sometimes you have band members that think they're on your playing field, but they're not. And they only realize later in life or later on throughout the process that, yeah, this is too serious for them, or it's not serious enough, or it's too much, or whatever. So, it's easier to work on a project when we're only two people. But we've played with some really cool guys.
Yeah, it's one of the.
We've played with some really cool guys.
It's an interesting challenge when you're doing music, is that if it's a long-term project, you got to really have people working with you that are operating on the same level, like commitment-wise, and
There's a lot of levels. That's the thing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of levels because there's commitment to wanting to play music. That's the easy part. Everybody's committed. But then when you tell somebody, okay, well, you need to invest this much money into going into the studio, not everybody's got the same kind of money, or not everybody's able to make that investment.
Or willing to take a risk.
And not everybody's willing to take a risk. That's true. Yeah. That's very true. So it's a lot of levels. And it's hard to get on the same page as if you're 3 or 4 or 5. So, I mean, yeah, some, like they say, you got to go lean and mean sometimes. Lean and mean. Lean and mean sometimes. And then when we get to where we want to be, we'll eventually sort.
Out the team.
Yeah. For sure. What's important for me is the creative process. That's the important part. I mean, getting the songs written and getting some really good music out there. That's what's important. But I don't want to. I'm not gonna. We're not gonna talk. I was just joking before. We're not gonna talk trash about anybody. We played with some really good people, and we appreciate everything that they do for us on bass, on drums. But I mean, sometimes the music industry is a very difficult industry
Yeah, it's
to
unforgiving.
survive in. It's unforgiving.
And I can't
Correct.
blame people for, not wanting to carry on a frustrating path. That's
Carry on. Is that are you intentionally
a
saying
song title,
our album title?
album title, in fact, yeah.
No, but yeah. So look, it's hard when you play with band members for 5 years and then they're not there anymore. But at the same time, it's a sense of relief because you're like, okay, now we can move forward and do what we choose to do.
Mm-hmm.
So it's bittersweet. It's hard to go through. It's like going through a breakup, really, when a band member leaves.
Yeah, in a lot of ways it is.
It's like breaking up with a girlfriend or whatever, But I mean, once it's done, you realize like, yeah, it was for the better, and you move on.
Well, you take it as a learning experience, I guess,
Yeah.
And you also, it's kind of a new challenge. You got to figure out how to operate now with like one less person.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I mean, always pros and cons.
There's a lot of positive, a lot of negative. It's just a matter of like how you want to see it and what your plans are. Really, what your plans are. I think we had a clear plan ahead, and some people weren't on board with our plan. And I think that I think we're still following through with our plan, and that's to write. Yeah.
Slowly.
I mean, to write the best songs we could possibly write. That was our plan.
Yeah. And I think that something that you and I have in common is that we don't really place boundaries on the style of music that we.
Oh yeah, we're all over the board with the style.
Yeah, but not in a bad way. I mean, it's just
No.
It's an openness that we kind of share where we don't really feel, limitations in terms of like, stylistically or anything like that. Like I'm not a snob when it comes to I only play this type of music or whatever.
Yeah,
I try to be as open as I can be.
I think that's the main objective, is to be open and open-minded, creative, let it just flow, let it happen. And the song sometimes wants to go where it wants to go. You could force a song to do something and it just might not want to. It's for me, it's like it takes a life of its own. So, I mean, if the song is saying this is where it has to go, this is where it's got to go. And the same thing when I write lyrics, it's like sometimes I was not planning on writing about certain subjects. And then I'll find myself like crying in my room. Why am I writing about this? This is not what I wanted to write about. It just happens. That's how it is. So it just comes to you and it happens. But I mean, I think like when we did Never Gonna Let You Down, I was really pushing the boundaries. I think that also scared some of our past band members away because they saw like, oh shit, this is different. What the heck? This is not what we normally sounded like. So it's easy for people to get scared off. And the business of music is brutal. It is brutal. For every high, we have 10 lows. Like we had some good highs. We had a good run the last few years, and we're still going to push through. But like we played at Metropolis with 3 Doors Down.
Played with 3 Doors Down. That was one of the craziest.
That was fun.
That was really cool.
And then it followed by like some of the lowest lows, So it's like, oh man, we just played a show in front of 3,000 people at Metropolis, MTELUS, whatever you call it. We opened for 3 Doors Down, and then like you're losing a band member along the way or whatever. Yeah. So it's brutal. It's really cutthroat. It's a cutthroat business. If you don't have the skin for the game, don't get in it. Don't get into it because it's hard. But so long as you want to stay creative and you want to write music, just go with the flow, man.
It should be okay. Be in it for the right reasons, and I think I don't know about you, but for me, like when I was younger, I had a lot of dreams, and it's not like I don't have dreams anymore, but you learn to manage your expectations a little bit, and you learn to you kind of accept that, you know, not everything's got to go exactly the way you want it to go, and it's okay, and you can still
I like that.
On, you know,
I like that philosophy because I have the same philosophy. Like you're not gonna succeed the way you think you're gonna. Everybody has the perfect plan in mind of how they're gonna succeed. The same way they have the perfect plan about how they're gonna meet their love of their life and how they're gonna. But everything takes a turn in a different direction sometimes. So, you know, we might not see success the way we wanted it to be, but nonetheless, we have to succeed, and we will.
Yeah.
You know, so that's it. With music, it's very much that way. Like you'll be really low, and then you'll have a really good high, and you'll be like, "Wow, we just did a great show," and then low again. But in the end, you have to just keep your eye on the ball and try to focus on the main goal, which is do it because you love it. Like you're saying that people are doing it for the wrong reasons. And I find that's so true. Everybody gets involved in music for the wrong reasons at the start. And those who are in it for the right reasons are those who like it's a filter system. It's a filtering system.
Yeah.
You know,
those that have like shallow intentions get filtered out.
Oh yeah.
And, you know, the ones that just really want to play and create are the ones that are still standing at the end.
Yeah, for me, it was always about writing songs, performing live. Those are my two favorite things to do: writing and performing. Everything else that comes with the music business, I could do without. Like, I couldn't care less about videos. I couldn't care less about social media.
That's where the job part of it comes in.
That's
right?
the business side. That's the job part. I mean, I know playing live is gruesome and it's tough, but I enjoy it. I find that that's my dream. If I can tour and play to people every night, that would be like a dream come true for me. People singing your songs back to you, that's like, wow, you know? Yeah. And writing and recording, that's fun. But everything else for me is garbage. Everything else.
Yeah, but it comes with the territory also.
It does.
You can't really separate it too much.
No, you can't. But I mean, today with the Instagram age, it's gotten a little ridiculous what we're seeing artists and people doing. But I mean, whatever.
But
like
follow
you said,
us on Instagram.
Follow us on Instagram at The Following Music. Hashtag The Following Music. And Facebook at The Following Music. Yeah. And Twitter at The Following Music.
Yeah. Well, I used to.
And YouTube.
Twitter, but
our Twitter's doing fine.
Yeah. Start tweeting.
You should. Just don't tweet anything. No. Our Twitter's doing well. Yeah. 2020. 2020. Yeah. So no, we got. I think that next year is going to be a good year for us. Yeah, good year for you because now your kid is okay. She's in the growing up phase. You know, I know it's brutal, man. When you have a kid, you're at the beginning stages, and the first year is gonna pass, and it's gonna start to get easier. So
6 months coming up.
Yeah, man.
I can't believe it. It's going by so quickly.
Yeah, it goes by quickly. That's why I say enjoy it, and take the time to enjoy it. And then music is always gonna be there. Music is there, man. I ain't going anywhere. I'm here.
I gotta stay home and take care of my kids.
Yeah, that's it. We have a podcast to do.
Yeah, something I can do at home.
Yeah.
Great after she goes to bed.
Yeah, exactly.
This is what I've resorted to.
Exactly.
Things in my basement.
Yeah.
But
this is
all good. It's
fun.
I'm super happy. It's a wonderful time, and I'm just enjoying it. Like you said, like appreciating every moment because it goes by really fast.
It does. It really does.
Tells me it goes by fast, and I can see like it's very true. Like I just try to always like when I'm with her, just like not let my mind wander off onto stupidities and just like be in the moment.
Yes.
And, like appreciate, just
absorb it, soak it all in.
Yeah, I'm doing my very best to do that.
Soak it all in.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess we've done almost an hour and a half. This is
an hour and a half.
Yeah, it's way more than we intended to do for.
I have some topics I'd like to discuss.
We'll save them for next time, okay?
Okay.
This will not be the last.
I came with a whole list.
Well, keep that list.
This was a weird podcast, man. We went from talking about babies to music to conception to back to music, then to Jesus at one point. I don't remember what we said about him.
Well, look,
Thank you, Jesus.
At the beginning, I asked you to help me figure out exactly what this podcast would be about. You did not do that. We covered every topic under the sun. And
it's a good pilot episode.
It's a good pilot episode.
It gets everybody involved, the religious, the non-religious.
Maybe over time I'll figure out what exactly I want to do. I highly doubt it. I think every episode is going to be a mess for a long time.
I think that's the way to go.
I just like talking to people and having conversations.
That's what it is.
Things like
that's what it's about.
That's what I want to do.
I think that's the way to go, man. Just any topic is up for debate. Anything could be talked about.
Like, you can always be surprised.
Next time I'll come more prepared when we're talking about religion. I'm going to come back with facts.
Do your research.
We're going to talk about how many Christians there are, how many Muslims there are, how many Jews there are, just to have a grand scope of,
okay,
how many people believed in this story and how many people believe in that story.
We can get into the Da Vinci Code a little bit.
Oh, man, let's not go into that. That's a dangerous podcast. I'm not sure if I want to be part of that one.
No limits.
Should talk to Brandon about that one, maybe.
Fibonacci sequence.
Oh, okay. I think we also talked about Amazon here.
Yes,
and Elon Musk.
Elon Musk. Cybertruck, baby.
Yeah.
It looks badass.
Cybertruck, the windows broke. It's not really that good. He threw a rock at the truck and it broke.
Yeah, but...
Twice.
Well, whatever.
I like Elon Musk.
I'll give him a pass on that.
He must have been so mad when that happened. Can you imagine the meeting after that? How angry would he be?
But also, people didn't seem to really care that much.
I don't think people understood what was going on.
Yeah, me neither.
They're like, why is he breaking the window? They thought it was supposed to happen that way.
They did the experiment when they dropped the big marble on the window and on the glass, and it didn't break. But then he threw it at the truck, and it did break.
But it's supposed to be an armored vehicle.
Yeah.
But why is he coming out with this? See? Topic for conversation next time.
Save this for next time.
Why is he coming out with this? What is going on in 2020?
We're getting a little bit...
why do we need armored vehicles?
Conspiratorial.
What is going on? Rob, I need to know what's going on. Do I need to order one on Amazon? What?
I need to let this marinate a little bit. I'm not prepared to talk about this topic right now.
Okay. Marinate.
Cool. Well, thanks for joining me.
Of course.
This was a fun first episode, and
yep.
Yeah. Hopefully it gets uploaded. I'll try to.
Okay. Do your best. It's a pilot episode. If you need me to come back, I'll be here anytime.
Okay.
This is fun for me.
I need to figure out how to edit this properly and get it up. But yeah, if you guys do end up listening to this, find a way to give me feedback, because I only want to make it better for the next time. So follow me on Twitter, Rob_Flis. And I'll see you next time. Take it easy.